Hello out there. We're on the air. It is curling day 3 of the MoPac 2023 Men's and Women's Club Playdowns being broadcast to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. This is your host, Ryan Olson, with you as we are about ready to get underway for our final game of pool play. This features the last women's pool draw, women's pool B, a matchup between Team Wheeler from Silicon Valley Curling Club taking on Team Umali, a new rink out of Hollywood Curling Club. Should be interesting to see some of the action. After this, the playoffs will be set with both the men's and women's tournaments. Both tournaments are set for pool play, and we will see the top two, we'll see the winners and the second place finishers of each pool advance to the playoffs as the skip. Miss Umali has the broom down for her leads. Playing lead tonight is Queena Mewers. So that also means that Wheeler has the hammer for the first end. So glad you guys are here joining us. It's been a long weekend, but it's been very rewarding. We've seen a lot of great games on the ice and getting a lot of great feedback on our broadcast, which is awesome because that's the big reason why we're doing it, is to present and showcase some of the awesome curling and curlers that our region, MoPac, has to offer. So, listen, they're still waiting for the bell to ring. These are timed events, and so I think they're waiting for the bell to ring so they can start the clocks on time. You can see in the background there, both teams has 30 minutes, and then ring the bell. We are on here for this final draw. Queena gets set in the hat there. Queena began curling in 2019, was champion of the 2021 Holiday Bonspiel under 5 division at the Southern California Curling Center, playing as second there, and her first shot's away. It'll be interesting to see how these teams, Umali and Wheeler, start their ends because sometimes teams have been fairly aggressive getting going as in the event. Well, that settles into a center guard. All right, and looking now for the first rocks coming from Team Wheeler. This is going to be, I believe, Nisa Keshwani. Looks like they're going to put up a corner guard. Team Wheeler is. So some of the other sheets in play today, we will do our patented around the rings coverage. We did not coin the phrase. We did not coin the phrase, but we are going to mint it. Around the rings coverage, just to let you know how the other games in this final draw of pool play are going to wrap up. On sheet 1, we have Team Spangler from Wine Country taking on Team Baxter. Sheet 2 is our feature sheet, Umali versus Wheeler. Sheet 3 is Team Pomeroy from Utah Olympic Oval taking on Team Barajas. Sheet 4 is the other women's game on the ice, a B pool game between Walsh and taking on Coyotes is Aubrey. And then the final game in action on sheet 5 is Team Hernandez taking on Team Mendoza. So glad you are with us. Strap in. We are going to hopefully have a doozy for you tonight. This shot here. Looks like Umali came into the house. There's the lead second, and now I think Wheeler was trying to draw around that center guard, and they do get around the center guard, although not heavy enough to get into the house. That is just another center guard. So Umali here is looking at their options. I think they're going to draw around again. Looks like. This is the second playing for Umali today. This is Kira Manyahan. Kira, she began curling last year. Took part in the 2022 MoPac under 25s and various bonspiels throughout the region. This looks like it's pretty good. Maybe just a little heavy. Actually, very heavy. And it's going to go through the house and out of play. So now Wheeler has the broom down for her second. That is going to be Sydney Jorgensen. Sydney has been curling lots of events in her first, at least a 1 year of competitive play. She was at the 2022 San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Churchiesville was lead on the winning team. This was not coming back, so that's going to go through the house, sail on by. Just a miss, unfortunately. So it looks like Umali is going to try the draw again. And this is Man Ayan's second shot here. I think this one, I mean, she was heavy the first shot, and this also looks to be a little heavier, but a little bit lighter. Sweepers are on it now. Maybe thinking of kissing off of the shot stone. It is curling now, so it might be missing the shot stone, and it settles into the back eight. So a decent shot. Now Umali is sitting two. And it looks like Wheeler wants to go after the shot stone in the 8 foot there, the outer 4 foot. Sweepers jump on it pretty quickly. They're going really hard. I think making sure it doesn't over curl, and I think it's going to get the inside of that blue stone. Indeed, the shooter's going to roll through the house and out of play. But good job getting rid of the shot rock by Team Wheeler there. So it looks like Umali wants the third for Umali. This is Landhen Amanda Adrian Gonzalez there. She began curling in 2018, competed in the 2021 and 2019 MoPac Playdowns as vice and lead, respectively, and also took part in the 2019 MoPac 5 and under, and also numerous other bonspiels across the region. Thank you to Ashley in the comments. They gave me a pronunciation. I'll definitely do my best to get it right. They gave us a different pronunciation than what Ashley gave us. Again, I'll do my best to get it right. Looks like that draw was a little bit on the short side. So vice for Team Wheeler, Jacqueline Pitlarts is going to go after it. Or Pitlarts. And this is hanging out. This is the side of the sheets that Jane Burton in the last game noted that there may be like a bit of a scraper line that built up. So if it goes towards the wings, it either falls out, especially if you're doing a play towards the wings, or it sometimes doesn't come back very easily. And so that one just kind of hanged out and went through, it looks like. So now Umali is going to, I think, draw again with Landry and Gonzalez as second there. This one's looking pretty good. Maybe a little up weight. Going to crash on the guard. It's going to promote the guard into the house for a second shot there in the wings. Also just adds kind of another center guard to the clutter. So Wheeler there has the broom for Jacqueline. Jacqueline was at the 2022 Arena Nationals, finished in fourth place as the lead. This Wheeler team was the team that one of the two women's teams that went to Arena Nationals for our region. Jacqueline was also at the 2022 Coyotes 5 and under, finished as a C event runner-up, playing second. This one looks pretty good, sweeping to finish, and it's going to be good for second shot. So I think very quickly we are at skip stones as Umali has the broom on the ice for her third to hold the broom. And it looks like Ladrian Gonzalez is holding the broom for her skip. There's a bit of a lineup change, and so we're kind of going off of some notes here, but this looks to be a pretty decent setup for Umali. I think Landry Gonzalez is kind of looking for a hit and roll from her skip. This is the first rock now coming from Donna Umali. So normally Umali throws lead rocks and skips the game, and I think they changed the order so that she's throwing last. And this first rock, unfortunately, a little up weight and went through the house. Again, that's the tricky side of the house, tricky side of the sheets, where again rocks don't come back as easily when they're thrown out towards the wings like that. So now Wheeler is, I think, looking at their options. I think they are kind of looking to draw in, perhaps. Like if they draw in, they have a chance of they need to be close to biting the 4-foot ring, and so the draw is probably a really good shot. And if it crashes on the yellow that is further up in the 8-foot circle, then they can promote the yellow toward the center of the rings and get shot rocked that way. So this is Melissa Wheeler's first. She was skipped the Silicon Valley team that represented MoPac at the 2022 U.S. Curling Arena Nationals. She also was at the Inter-Club Playdown for the 2023 U.S. Women's Curling Association National Bonspiel. So she will be going to the U.S. WCA National Bonspiel as the winning team from Silicon Valley. This shot here, asking for a draw, I believe. Weight list a little on the light side. Sweepers are sweeping away. Definitely need to try and coax it even further into the rings, and it will end up just a little short, but it's good for third shot. So now Umali is sitting a shot rock behind the button in the back 8-foot. Wheeler looks to be sitting second and third. Umali has that fourth rock there in the outer 12-foot toward the top of your screen as we see it. So Umali is getting some people to strategize here. I think it's going to be tough for Wheeler to get like more than one here. The draw path on the right is open, which is why they're looking at it. Umali is. And I think they're looking to just kind of guard that side of the sheet. They do leave open kind of like a raise on the left side from this head-on view. But I think they decided that the guard is the best shot. I'm curious about if they would want to come in, and I don't know if they would come in. The guard does seem like a very sure thing, so I think that's what they're taking. And we will see what Umali would like to do here. She started curling in 2008 at Hollywood Curling. has been to MoPac Club Regionals starting in 2009. Was like the three-time champion there from '09 to 2011, playing lead or second. Looks like they're saying it's up weight, perhaps. This one definitely does look like it's going to carry a little bit. And actually, it's going to carry through the house and out of play. So a missed chance there for Umali to really turn up the pressure on Team Wheeler. And now it's up to the Wheeler to kind of decide what they would like to do here. Looks like they're lining up. I think they're going to try and do the angle raise just based on the ice they're given. I think they want to hit the inner yellow there because that's the best bet to get toward the button. However, all they need to do is out count the blue in the solid 8 foot. So I think they might be looking to hit the inner yellow, but if they hit the outer yellow and maybe raise it toward the 4 foot, that could also work. We'll be interested to see how this final shot from Skip Melissa Wheeler goes. It says that her favorite bonspiel was the 2019 Donna Perky Classic. That is an event held at Coyotes Curling in Tempe, Arizona. And I've heard nothing but good things about that event, which is a women's event, so I can't never enter it. It's unlikely to happen. Here's her shot, Melissa Wheeler, the hammer here, first ends. Sweepers are on it, going all the way hard. It looks like it's over curling. It's actually going to maybe hit the center guard there. Hits the center guard and then runs into the blue center guard, but doesn't cause any more damage. And so that looks to be a steal of 1 from Team Umali to start off the scoring here in the last draw of pool play at the 2023 Men's and Women's Club Playdowns. So before we return to this feature game, I always like to kind of go around the rings and kind of see how the other games are going. So looking around the rings, I'll try to break down the games as you see them from right to left, sheet 1 to sheet 5. On sheet 1, it is a men's C pool game between Team Spangler of Wine Country with Red Rocks and Team Baxter from San Francisco. Baxter scored 1 with a hammer in the first to go up 1-0. Sheet 2 is our feature game between Umali and Wheeler. Umali's up 1-0 over with the Blue Rocks. Sheet 3 is the Utah Olympic Oval's Team Pomeroy with Red Rocks playing against Team Barajas from San Francisco Bay Area. No score posted so far. Sheet 4 is the other women's B pool game in place. It says both teams have yellow rocks, which cannot be so. So we'll figure out what's going on there. If they all play with yellow rocks, that would be something else. It looks like Walsh scored to score first, although the bonspieler.com website is not up to date on that. And then on sheet 5, playing with the Blue Rocks, Team Hernandez of Hollywood scored a deuce over Team Mendoza, also from Hollywood. So we have another Hollywood blockbuster battle here happening in the final draw of pool play at this event. So that brings you up to date on the Around the Rings action. Shifting back to what's been going on in our feature game. Looks like Umali drew in with their first stone at the end. So I think they wanted a guard. But drawing in the house isn't too bad. This is Queena Mewers with her first. And this looks to be a center guard going up. Sorry, a corner guard, the opposite of a center guard. That's really to the wings. I don't know if they're going to be able to make much use of that. Now Umali would like to kind of guard the center line there. looks like it's really hanging out. I don't think it's going to come back very much. It's slowing down as a two dart there. So that's a little bit of a miss, and now it gives a target for Wheeler to go after in the house, and that is looks like what they're going to do. They're going to draw down to it with this is first there. Nissa started curling in 2022. Her favorite bonspiel was the 2022 Silicon Valley bonspiel, hosted at Silicon Valley's club. I haven't had a chance to go there. It sounds like a fun time. But most bonspiels sound like a fun time. And this turns into another center guard there. Corner guard. I'll get my guards right. So I think this gives Team Umali a chance to, again, try to put up a center guard. And this is going to be Kira Nayan with her first shot here. Looks like a nice release there. Looks like based on where Umali has the brewers that they want to take, maybe they could possibly draw it toward the blue that's in the house. It's potentially a little dangerous. If they freeze it right on that straight, and it looks like it's going to be locked on, but it does create a double opportunity for Wheeler, and that's what Wheeler is going to dial up there. It has the broom down pretty quickly for second Sydney Jurgensen. Some of the other events that Sydney has been to include the 2022 MoPac 5 and Under was the A event runner-up as lead. Also at the Barrel, the Wine Country Curling Club bonspiel, and this looks really close. I'm trying to get one, and it rolls over on top of the other blue, so it does get rid of one. And if Wheeler does that shot again, Wheeler will probably chip out that blue pretty easily. So looks like Umali would like to have Kira draw around. I think this time coming a little deeper in the house. And that is what has been called for. Another smooth release there. Seaver's just kind of watching, maybe cleaning a little bit as the stone goes down the ice. Might have a little bit of pepper to it. It's slowing down a little bit, but not enough, as the stone will go through the house and out of play. So now Wheeler has another chance at the takeout, and so if she hits the yellow onto the blue is going to go away, and she will probably be sitting two yellows in the top of the house, which is a pretty excellent opportunity for her with the hammer here at the second end. So sweepers are on it. Just need to make sure they get some nice solid content on the main stone, and it looks like it's going to. Looks like it crashed. Yeah, I kind of chipped the guard out of the way there. So it looks like Umali would like to kind of close the door, as it were, kind of put up a guard. She's sitting one right now without the hammer. And defensively, it kind of made sense to, put up a guard. But I'm curious about, possibly, maybe splitting the house, give Wheeler another target to aim for, perhaps. But guard was called for. It looks a little wide. But if it goes to the center, that should be good for Landry Gonzalez's first shot there. It looks like it's settling down, though, really nicely. Going to settle down to the back 8 foot. That is a kind of not the shot I was thinking would work because it does give Wheeler a target to draw towards or some backing for his shot. I was thinking more kind of put a rock on this view towards the top 8 foot, kind of like straight above where the blue rock is, but with enough separation so there wasn't a double. Um, but it looks like it's something. It's another rock in play. It should be interesting to see how it goes. As the third for Team Wheeler gets set, should be Jacqueline. Oh yes. So this needed to curl up and actually is going to go through the house. So uh, some of these some of these heavy draws or takeouts are kind of tricking both teams a little bit here in the early ends of this game. Umali is asking Landry and Gonzalez to I think draw again. Her shot's underway. So I think just a little bit lighter weight this time, although it looks like it's carrying again. Uh, a lighter weight though. I don't think they were sweeping, but I don't think it needed it. Um, Actually, the weight's about the same. And now I guess they're looking for a freeze. Um, and Wheeler kind of jumped in to help with the sweep a little bit for the opposing team's reasons. And now Umali is sitting 3, but 2 of those are behind the tee line. Um, and so I think it'd be tricky to hit both of the blues out, especially with one shot, just based on kind of how they're lined up. I think maybe the double could be there. Let's see what Team Wheeler and Jacqueline would like to do here. So trying to take out again with less ice. Looks like this is going to be better. I think they're going to get contact with 1, perhaps. Oh no! Another miss. So an unfortunate situation here developing for Team Wheeler. A chance to kind of clean up the center of the house, center of the sheet to create a scoring opportunity, and they've missed both times. So Lars has the broom down. I think they're just going to try and draw in, but this time more of a guard. Um, and the guard makes a lot of sense. Even a tight guard would be fine. I think in this circumstance. And her shot's away here. This looks to be a bit on the heavy side as well. Sweepers are just kind of walking it down, giving it an escort. Also, just for the weight, heavy, and it's just going to go sailing through the house. So this line and this weight seems to be fooling both teams at the start of this at the start of this game. Pardon me. So we'll see what Wheeler would like to do, but I don't really like them trying to do the takeout again. Well, no, okay, I take that back. I think the takeout could work because if they do the takeout, they run, for this overhead view, they run the blue onto the other blue. One of the blue goes, and then the yellow that started the chain reaction will stick around, and it would be very difficult for Umali to get it out. So I can see this takeout working. We'll see if it's in the cards for Melissa Wheeler here with her first shot of 2 skipstones in the second end of this game. Kick out from the hack. Release. Looks like a softer takeout weight. Supers are on it. I think definitely need to make sure to hold the line because once the stones break, they break pretty hard. So it's really, really close. Oh, and it crashes on the guard. It looks like it crashes on the rocket toward the front of the house and rolls out of play. And so now this is a forced situation for Umali. It's not. I, the odds of Wheeler scoring more than 1 point here are very, very low. I would dare say next to impossible. And now Umali, all she has to do is put up a guard and just make it really hard for Wheeler to draw in. I think the ice that they've given is okay. I think there would not be. There's multiple ways into the house toward the button, so I think it's a matter of taking, figuring out which one to take away. And I think they're going to take away just to the left of the center, as Donna Umali delivers her last rock here. Again, sweepers are just walking with it. Looks to be a little heavy, but also a little bit worried about the line there. As Umali takes a closer look, the line's actually not too bad. The line's not too bad for like the takeout, which that means that Wheeler can't basically kind of like nose hit the shot stone, or what used to be the shot stone in the back forefoot. But the draw is still there. The draw is pretty wide open, especially on the top or the left side from this view. And that is what they've dialed up. And there's also a little bit of backing if it starts to curl. So just a shot for one. So facing three, this is Melissa Wheeler's last with a hammer in the second end. The line looks pretty good. Sweepers jump on it. It's a matter of making sure it gets there, making sure it doesn't overcurl. I think the weight's pretty solid. So now there's waiting for a line here. And actually the weight's too much. It's just going to kiss off of the blue in the back there. And they were facing four. So that is unfortunate steal there. Unfortunate steal for Wheeler. Umali, good steal on their part. Team Umali early in this game takes a 5-0 lead over Team Wheeler as we head into the third end here at the 2023 MoPac men's and women's playdowns. We'll be right back to our feature game as we will be right back after this quick check from around the rings. Looking around the rings, looks like a number of teams have finished their second ends. Looking at the score here, Baxter on sheet one opened up the scoring with 1 in the first, and then Spangler took a deuce in the second, scored 2 in the second. Spangler playing with Red Rocks. Sheet 2 is our feature game between Team Umali. They're up 5-0 over Wheeler from Silicon Valley. Sheet 3 is Team Pomeroy from the Utah Olympic Oval facing Team Barajas from San Francisco. Barajas scored a single. They stole one in the first, and they have a 1-0 lead over Pomeroy. On sheet 4, the scoreboard has it. Let's see. It looks like we're doing a scoreboard update now on the web stream. It looks to be 2-1 Walsh, but not quite sure what's going on with the scoring. Walsh and Aubrey are fighting on that sheet. And on sheet 5, we have Team Hernandez up 2-1 over Team Mendoza. Mendoza has the Yellow Rocks, and they scored 1 with a hammer in the second end. So that is the latest on the action around the rings. Please, if you would like the latest scores, check out bondspieler.com. Bondspieler.com, your source for all your curling scoring needs, of which there might be many. Back now on our feature sheet, where Wheeler's looking to get some points on the board. Umali starts the end by putting up a middle guard. Wheeler, I think, was trying to draw around, ends up crashing on the guard. and tips the blue rock over. I think that may have been a no-tick rule violation. So that's why Umali was asking if the other team wanted to leave it. I think they will. So what happened there was that Umali had a rock on the center line as a guard, and as part of competitive play this season, we have a no-tick rule for top-level competition. Um, so Umali's drawing around the center guard. So in the no-tick rule, if the opposing team ticks your rock or moves your rock off of the center line, the offending rock can be removed and the original stone resets. Or the skip can say, oh, it's okay. And so in this situation, Umali asked the rest of the team, should we reset it? They said, it's okay. And so that's how the rocks played out here. And so they kind of ticked their own corner guard further to the wings and rolled back towards center. So a fairly decent outcome there, it appears. It seems like Wheeler would like to have Teshwani draw toward the wings here. Put a rock in play, hoping to use it for scoring later in the end. It looks like if it gets around the guard, it should be pretty good. It does not get around the guard. It crashes and rolls to the wings. Wheeler is trying to coax it back to the house, but I think it rolls to the sideline. They took a look at it. Actually, from the depending on the angle, on the side angle, it looks like it's still in play. So from the overhead, like this, it's out. From the side view, the head-on view, it's in. So and they on the ice had the better look, so they said it's in. So first rock coming from Manayan, and just another draw, a nice gentle draw there. Sweepers are on it. I think definitely more for weight, and it's also starting to curl pretty heavily there. So it looks like it's around. No, it ticks the center yellow there. Now the no-tick rule doesn't apply after the fifth rock to the end. So that was the sixth rock to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's one that's out of play. So the no-tick rule is off, and so that she was okay to tick that stone to the side. I don't know if it accomplished too much, but it was allowable. This is Jorgensen's first here. She's been to many of the other events that Team Wheeler's been to, including the barrel. She started curling in 2019 and says her favorite bonspiel was this year's 2022 MoPac 5 and Under, which we had and hosted by Denver, which was great fun. And it looks like we're going to be doing something very similar this coming year. So definitely stay tuned for more details on the MoPac 5 and Under as we get details set. That rock rolled yellows to the wings. And now Umali, I think, is looking for Kira to just draw in again. Looks like some good communication on both teams, but you definitely kind of see that there from Team Umali and Kira's shot there. Looks like the stone's curling again. They might get a tap on that blue guard, and they're able to roll and promote that blue guard into the house. It's close to biting the top 8 foot there. So it looks like Wheeler wants to clear the guard, which makes sense. I keep mentioning there's a podcast I listen to, and part of the advice is to it's very hard to go wrong clearing a guard. The host of the show says you can never go wrong clearing a guard. I don't know if I would go that far, but it's certainly a good call most of the time. And let's see if that's there. It looks like it's going to peel the blue dart. The blue dart goes through the house out of play as the shooter rolls away out of play. So a nice clear there for Umali. I think likely she goes to put the broom down in a guard position, so she wants to guard that shot stone. Makes a lot of sense. She's calling the broom high up in the playing area. Um, we've been talking in past broadcasts. That's not necessarily the what a lot of skips do, but we will see how this will work. So this stone looks to be a little bit light. It didn't really come back very much, and will be a high guard, but not really guarding anything. So now Wheeler has the shot, the view to take out shot stone, and this is the first stone coming from Jacqueline. Makes contact on their own guard, and nice run back. It runs back onto the blue, and the blue gets hit out of play. So excellent shot there from Jacqueline. And so now Umali is going to try and take out the new shot stone there. This first rock coming from Amanda Landrian Gonzalez. Landrian. They're sweeping it pretty hard. I think definitely to make sure to hold the line. It's overturning a little bit, but they're able to get rid of the shot rock as the shooter rolls to the wings out of the house. So now Wheeler has a wide open house and down 5, so definitely needs to try and generate some offense. So I think she's going to try and draw around that corner guard that Umali has put up. It's a pretty high guard, but a guard's a guard. The common advice is that you don't really want to draw behind your opponent's guards, but any port in the storm, as it were. This is sweepers are going on it pretty hard, I think, for weight and line because it needs to get around that blue rock, and actually it tips off of the blue rock and rolls towards the center. So it continues the open house right now. It's the third end, so it's still relatively early in the game. Umali could perhaps consider blanking the end and carrying the hammer to a fourth end, where there might be a better opportunity to score multiple points. However, sometimes like teams just kind of say we want to start scoring to kind of break the ice, as it were, and we will see what Team Wheeler would like to do here. Looks like Umali would like to just draw around the center guards, which is a solid strategy. When you don't have the hammer, you want to control the front of the house and the center area in the guard zone. And that appears to be a pretty good setup so far if you're Team Umali, where they have the 2 standard center guards and they can draw around it. Or Wheeler has the 2 standard center guards. Umali's going to try and draw around the Wheeler guards. It sounded like they're calling top of the house there. So we're going to hold the line. It's definitely around the guards. Also, it's a matter of weight. I think they definitely need to sweep to make sure it gets in the house. And just a nice draw there by Donna Umali. So now Wheeler is facing a pretty tough situation here because Uh, Umali is sitting one behind cover. They really can't hit the Umali stone out. They could perhaps do like a heavy draw and on the right side and chip out the Umali stone, but I think they would lose the shooter. Um, I think they could draw in. If they outdraw the Umali blue to outcount Umali, that could be one, and then maybe find a way to get two. Um, that's probably a tough situation though, because if Wheeler successfully draws toward the button, all Umali has to do is just kind of follow Wheeler down and park right on top of her, or tap it back even, and then the chance for scoring two would be lost. So it's an interesting situation. The broom's down. They are going for the draw. The clockwise intern, pardon me. And here we go. Looks like it floated a little bit on her release, but not too bad. Sweepers are on it. Sweepers are running really hard. It looks like it's coming up on a little on the light side, so definitely need to sweep all the way hard. And actually, the weight's still pretty solid. With a nice little bit of finish, they get to the top four, and they are sitting shot. So now Umali has a hit, I think a hit and stick for two, and then it's going to be really difficult for Wheeler to even score. I think Wheeler could draw to full 4 foot on the bottom or left side. But if they nose hit that yellow rock, if Umali successfully nose hits it right on the schnoz, that would be second rock, and then Wheeler could try and double those blues out, but I don't think that's there. And really, I think the best shot would be to draw at that point. But this is Donna Umali's second stone without hammer here in the third end. Lines up the shot. And here we go with the delivery here. Last rock for Umali without hammer here in the second end. Third end, third end. Needs to curl up. This could be a miss. Unfortunately, it is. Perhaps more weight than what was needed for that type of takeout. You would tend to throw up weight if you wanted to try and hold the line, but that really depends on making sure that you're right on the broom. And it didn't come back.
Yeah, it looked like
Well, let's see what's going on here. So this is the last rock. Melissa Wheeler here is facing. She has shot right now. So this is a draw for two, and a nice recovery for being down 5-0 after two, and so her shot's away, and sweepers are just kind of cleaning the rock right now. This could be a little heavy actually. They're just cleaning it now. They're off it entirely, and they're just gonna watch it go by through the house out of play. So I need to stop jinxing these teams, where it's like, oh, they got this shot, and it's like, no, it kind of was a little heavy. So that's Wheeler scoring one here in the third. We're going to go to the fourth with the score 5-1, Team Umali over Team Wheeler. We'll be right back after a moment with a special guest. How's that for a tease? We'll be right back. So, oh. We are back, but before we resume the feature game coverage, and introduce our special guest, just a quick trip around the rings. Sheet 1, Spangler scored a triple in the third end to take a 5-1 lead over Team Baxter. Spangler with the Red Rocks, and looking to score again here in the fourth end. On sheet 2, our feature game, Wheeler scored a single in the third to be down 5-1 over with Team Umali. On sheet 3, Team Pomeroy, Team Barajas from San Francisco. Team Barajas has a 2-0 lead over Pomeroy. Barajas with the Yellow Rocks. Sheet 4, again, Bonspieler's a little off here. It says we have 2 teams with Yellow Rocks, which cannot possibly be, but it doesn't matter because the score is tied. So, and then on sheet 5, we have Team Hernandez of Hollywood, 3-1 lead over Team Mendoza of Hollywood. And so that brings you up to date on the scores. Live scoring is on bondspieler.com. Now we're going to shift back to our feature sheet game. Again, an interesting matchup between Team Umali from Hollywood and Team Wheeler from Silicon Valley. And at this time, it's my great pleasure and honor to bring on a true Scotsman. I think you're a true Scotsman. This is, other side, I think. There we go. A true Scotsman, Garnet Howells.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, everybody that's watching, and welcome again to. This is the final session, I think, of the Playdowns before we move to the playoff stage of the MoPac Regional Club Nationals here. Playdowns for a place, or possibly 2 places for the men's, I think, in nationals, given the large number of teams here.
Just an astonishing number of teams.
I think it's amazing. We've had, it's 18 men's teams and 8 women's teams.
That's correct.
I can't remember how many men's teams there were last year, but certainly not that many. I certainly know that the women's teams, I think, the women's draw last year, I think, only featured 4 teams. So we've got a doubling of representation here in the MoPac region for Playdowns, which is fantastic.
What did you think when you saw that you were going up against 17 teams, or in a field of 18 total teams?
A lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of new people. It's challenging. I mean, the regular players, of course, there. Siggins, top of his game, playing well. Has actually been to some cash spiels this year up north with a new team. We maybe talk about that a little bit later. Leclerc, always a player. Fleming and McBride, the top 4 seeds. So if you're going to advance, you've got to beat them, unfortunately. We gave up a 6 in the 5th against Leclerc, having started well and blew out. But, we had a good showing here. Got a relatively new team. Ken, Ben, and young Peter. We won. We had a good game against Pomeroy, a couple of close games against Jesus from Mexico. Mm-hmm. Very close game, great game against Dave Betts. Unfortunately, didn't luck out there. But a great showing, and we also have a team going to the mixed national playdowns in a couple of weeks at Coyotes. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Partnering
up with Ben Young again, with Nicole, who's playing here, and our lead will be Hannah Berg, also from Hollywood. So looking forward to seeing you in Coyotes and Phoenix again. But let's enough of that. Maybe we get back to some of the play here.
Yes, this is the first rock from the Wheeler second, that being Sydney Jorgensen. And Wheeler called for some hack weight here. I think trying to chip out the blue.
It looks like it's overcurled there, but not a terrible result. Leaving open blue. Donna and the Umali team likely to be up. Calling for the centre guard. No surprises there. They're considering the hit, but I think the draw is the right shot. The guard, centre guard's the right shot here.
Umali has a hammer for the first time in the game.
They have hammer. Okay, well maybe not the centre guard then. You want to keep that centre clean, but she's 5-1 up at the moment.
Yeah.
So maybe
that could be a consideration.
Maybe thinking taking a 1 and running through 6-1 up after 5.
After 4.
After 4. Oh, have we not had the break yet?
Not yet.
No, we're not. This is the 4th end.
So we are playing 8-end games, 8-end scheduled. People can choose to resign early. That's one of the parts of the game where if you feel like you've had enough, you can say, hey, I'm not going to overeat in this game. I'm losing. I'm just going to concede.
Looks like this is a little heavy from Kira. Overcurling just a little bit. Yeah, and still leaving that blue exposed.
Yeah. So Wheeler's asking her.
Just hack weight, I think the call was there, Ryan.
Yep.
Not bad. Maybe, hopefully, curl over it. Maybe get a little tuck under.
Very similar. I mean, she just threw the shot, so I think just a different ice.
Looks quite hot.
Yep.
They're trying to carve it across. I think she was a little wide on the delivery there.
This is actually going to through.
It's coming. Oh dear, I think that's a little wide. And I think that didn't look like hack weight to me.
No. Definitely board, probably close to normal, perhaps.
Yeah,
I mean.
maybe. Yeah, certainly control up for sure.
Yeah. So this gives Umali another chance to put up a guard. What would you think if you don't have the hammer? I mean, you do have the hammer. So if you were Umali with the hammer up 5-1, would you try and split the house or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you try to do, you want to keep the center clean always, right? Usual tactics with hammer. This is an interesting setup. It's different. It's not always just about that. You gotta be mindful of the scorecard, where you're at in the game, and what you want to do.
Well, I curl on arena ice, and so I try to follow the offensive strategy of putting up corner guards. I very rarely use corner guards in arena games, because it's just so tricky. This is heavy. This is going to go in. Maybe looking to a freeze or a tap at this point. Look for a plan B.
Also not terrible, but I think she's left not fairly tricky because they're pretty tight together, but there's still a double on here.
Yep.
And could leave three yellows sitting pretty.
Yeah.
With the center junked up, and that's the danger of playing stuff in the center when you got a hammer.
And this could really change the end right here with this
really
shot.
Could if she makes this shot. How's it looking?
Pretty
Looks
close.
Looks pretty close. I think she almost got it.
Oh!
She just clipped the front one, redirected it, got one of them out, and there's one sitting just on the edge of the 4-foot there.
Wow. So this is a dangerous situation for Umali. It has been, but it's even more dangerous now.
Yeah, it is. I think you got to this is an interesting. She's looking to guard there. I'd honestly be tempted to rip those two yellows at the center on the left there.
Yeah.
Clear them out. There's a risk that you get a jam on the blue, but by doing that, you've cleared up the center a little bit. I think that's a better play.
Yeah.
Just keep it clean.
So, how did you find conditions this weekend? Here at this new club.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, the ice has been pretty nice. There's been some interesting lines. I think we called what we thought is wavy. Oh, she just punched that through. That's not a bad shot. Cleared up at least one of the center yellows there and left the port. So that's not a bad shot at all.
Although it does look like if Wheeler punches the bluestone out, they could be sitting 2. But depending on what sort of role Wheeler might get, it seems like this end is very much in flux. I mean, it's not leaning one way or the other right now.
It's not. It's pretty open. I mean, I think getting rid of that one of the center yellows is going to help Umali have hopefully a clear draw in. This looks like a pretty good shot though.
They definitely adjusted their weight. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. It would have been nice to get a little roll and a tuck under, put a bit of pressure on. Now there's an open hit on yellow. Yeah, just getting back to the ice. It's played pretty fast. We were like, backline hog, maybe anywhere between 3-8 and sometimes 4-1 at times. So pretty slick ice. I think I threw a couple of light 4-2, 4-3s, and we still got them close to the house. So, yeah, pretty slick ice. we've noticed what we call like a wavy pattern on the ice, like which I think might be down to actually maybe some inexperienced pebbling. I've seen that before in big places where you're not quite getting right out to the wings with the pebble. So that might be something for them to look at here. But the facility is great. As you mentioned before, a little tight in the warm room, but it's been cozy. We had a few beers last night here. Enjoyed catching up with some old friends and hearing some gossip about things going on in the world of curling. That's a nice shot there. Swoop right out to the wings. Looks if that's counting second shot, then that is good for Umali.
Listen, second, although the overhead camera can be deceiving, and as I've mentioned on past broadcasts, these houses are not true to the wings, as I understand.
That's right. We heard there was right at the start there was a public service announcement that there was a little bit of tightness left to right. They contracted a little bit when they.
I thought they were stretched, but.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe they contracted. I don't know.
Well, we certainly took a couple of things to measure that we maybe wouldn't have done otherwise, just for that reason.
So Benedict on the online chat is asking who's doing color commentary with me, and I would hope you know. A little bit of trash talking in the online chat here.
That's great. Yeah. Hi Ben, you're cut. Get somebody else to tap in for us in a couple of weeks in Phoenix, you swine.
And for those that don't know, again, this is Garnet Howells, a stip of Team Howells from Hollywood. How has it been, kind of adjusting to the unfortunate loss of the Southern California Curling Center?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, it sucks. I mean, if you speak to some of the guys, I mean, I only picked up curling again a year and a bit ago when we got dedicated ice in Southern California, and that was fantastic. That was the reason I got back into the game. And, it was 10, 12 years in the making, and we had 15 months of fun. Southern California with dedicated ice, a lot of good people now playing the game with only 15 months of experience, but when you can play 3-4 times a week, open practice ice. The Chi girls, the young junior girls, were down there almost every night, and they're already top 20 nationally ranked players at U18, and many other new curlers over the last. Peter Johns, who's on my team, less than just over a year, I think now, curling, and a fantastic second for us. He sometimes plays lead. We're going to be putting a team together for the Mile High over in Denver with a couple of new curlers and James Russell from Ireland plays with Team Ireland. So we're going to have some fun across in Denver in February. Can Garnet say his Vice's last name? Is it? I thought it's just called Candy, right? Candy. How do you say my Vice's name, right?
Oh, I have to look at it.
Deathlock. We're just joking. We're just having a bit of fun within the team.
No, I understand. I do my best to try and get everyone's names right because I know how important it is. And if I did a name wrong, I do apologize. This is actually looking pretty good.
That's a nice hit for 3-4. Is that? No, just two. I think. Or did we think that was a measure? That one.
So it could be a measure, but this is also Umali's last. So Wheeler had.
That was. So we still have the last of Skip Stones here. I think is that right?
Yeah, I think. Let's double check here.
Yeah.
So that was Umali's first.
So Wheeler still has a
Yeah.
chance for a. That's interesting. This is a tough call here. I mean, I don't think you can do very much. You got to throw pretty tough weight to roll over and sit shot buried, still back house. So I think it's still advantage Umali here.
Yeah.
Oh hey Sue, not many people do. You should speak to Emma, my wife. She doesn't like me listen. She doesn't enjoy me listening to drone on about curling, but I'm glad somebody does. Bless you kindly. Bless you kindly.
A lot of people like to listen to us talk about curling. And definitely glad that you're able to join us here on the broadcast. It's like, and also it's super easy to talk about something that we all love. And when we're talking about curling, it's like the conversation just comes very easily. And then we'll see what Wheeler can do here. This is her last shot without hammer, facing two. Needs to be shot or cut down the damage here. I think they're opting to take out that blue at the very least.
Looks like it's over curling a bit. They need to scrub hard even for just a piece here. Did they get a bit of it? Oh, they did, but not enough. And Donna's scrubbing it out the back there. And now is, as we always say, an easy draw for two, right? How hard can it be?
It is, right. And I've been jinxing the team, so I definitely shouldn't say easy draw for two. In all seriousness, there could be a possibility at the top of the house. There's two blues. They really can't chip out that yellow for a multiple, more than two.
Well, that's an interesting and aggressive strategy. I mean, they could play a run double on that blue.
Yeah.
It looks though with I had to figure out what kind of drag you might get there with that red and yellow, crunched together there. That could fuse back on that counter blue, which would be a bit of a disaster. So maybe that's why they've opted for the easy, in inverted commas, draw. But there's a possibility, I think, if you got it just right, to lie 4, possibly even 5, punching that yellow that's in the 8 foot out the back.
But it's a super tricky shot, and
I think you'd want to. I think with those overhead cameras, I think I'd want to take a closer look at. I don't know if Donna even looked at that one, but we can talk to her about it afterwards and see what was going through her mind. This looks a little light. They need to go. They got 3 sweepers on it. That doesn't usually make a difference, but maybe it did this time. There we go.
Some pats and high fives all around.
Nailed it, Donna. That's nice skip stone there. Looks like they did get 2.
Yeah.
Looks like they kicked them and they'd already decided. So those overhead cameras can be a little bit deceiving, as you say.
Indeed.
I don't know who Gecko771 on the chat is, but both whoever that is and Mika from down south looking for more Scottish puns. Well, I'll see what I can come up with. Most of the ones I know are pretty rude and not for prime time. But I'll see if I can come up with something that's PG rated.
So I when I teach curling, I try to explain the field of play, and because curling originated from Scotland, Canadians might disagree, lightheartedly, of course. But because curling started in Scotland, I try to explain the different elements of the field of play, and then I try to explain where the phrase hog line came from. And so, I don't know if you heard the same story that I heard. So hog line, I read this in a book, I think by Bob Weeks up north in Canada. He's done several curling books. The hog line apparently refers to ancient Scottish farmers. They would call the runts of the litter, or the animals that would otherwise be culled, as hogs. And so and I joked, that's an apt reference because the hog line is where stones go to die, like 2 ways. By either hogging between the hog lines or
nice.
not releasing in time.
It's a fun reference. I hadn't heard that one before.
Well, then also about the name curling itself, because when the sport originated, we weren't able to really do fancy rotations.
Yeah.
And so, as I understand it, the name comes from cur, kind of the cur sound that the rocks make as they go over the ice.
That's right, the roaring game indeed.
Yeah.
That's right. I heard that before as well, Ryan. Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting. You talk about the Canadians. They can be a little interesting when they talk about the nature and the origin of the game. In fact, we were up in Lovely Club up in near Toronto for summer training. Ben, myself, Marty Blomgren, I think, spent 300 hours on the ice there that weekend, taking every opportunity to play. That was a lot of fun. But they were congratulating us for everything that we'd done in the US for our game, the Canadian game. The guys there standing, I shan't say who it was, but was standing there talking to Scott, which I thought was kind of fun. We just go do a round the houses here.
Sheet 1, yeah.
Got a call out for team. We're going to shoot one first. Spangler from Wine Country, playing Baxter from local team here. Up 5-3 with Hammer. It's going to be a little tough for Baxter to drag that one back, but we've seen them play. They've got some good, skillful players on their team. Umali, the feature game, 7-1. Wheeler now with Hammer after Umali took that 2 with the draw to the 4 foot. Team Pomeroy struggling a little bit against Jesus, the Barajas team, led by Jesus, Team Mexico player, really talented guy, and 3 relatively young curlers, new curlers with his team, 5-0 up on sheet 3. Ryan, what do you talk to the Walsh and Aubrey game?
I have no idea what's going on the Walsh game because the rock assignments. I'm assuming Walsh has.
We could take a look outside. Usually top. It's blue and yellow on 4, isn't it? Is that right? No, it's red and yellow.
Yeah.
Something's not quite right.
As opposed to yellow and yellow.
We need to check up on that.
Let me see if we can get a better view of the scoreboards, and that might tell us the answer. So, no. Really hard to see who's. I guess we have to look at the rocks and see. All right, so it looks like Aubrey is playing.
Aubrey is playing. How many rocks? I can't see. It's gone a bit fuzzy there.
I think yellow just went. But let's see what they do. They're going for the yellow. So Aubrey is yellow.
Aubrey is yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's flick back to the score and just double
we
check.
Solve that puzzle.
Let's flick back to the score.
So
Aubrey. Yeah, and unsurprisingly, I mean, I think Aubrey team, national seniors team there. Aubrey, great group of ladies. 4-2 up. Looks like Walsh has Hammer, of course, and they're down to the last of the skips rocks. And then Clash of the Titans on sheet 5. Hernandez, also known as Bernandez, for his link to the Burnt family. They played last night. Burnt winning out. Probably slightly the stronger team. Dave's a new curler. Out of Hollywood, only been curling a short period, but has gone leaps and bounds. He's got Marty, we went up to Canada with. Maybe we're hooking up with Marty in a year or so's time for seniors. We'll, if the knees hold up. Against Team Mendoza. He's been a force in Southern California curling for some time now.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think, again, unfortunately, I hate to drone on about it, the loss of ice is making it challenging for people to get practice in front.
Well, it sounds like a lot of the players who are really active are trying to find ways to stay active. I was just talking with Jasmine last night about that. Yeah. Just kind of like they're more of like a traveling teams now.
Yeah, and you go and you try and get a bit of practice before a tournament or whatever, but it's not quite the same as practicing week in, week out. And you see the difference. The Fleming team, the Siggins team, Bob Leclerc that we played yesterday. They're practicing 2-3 times a week and that's their solid senior team there with Fred and the gang. It makes a huge difference, and it just comes down to 1 or 2 mistakes, 1 or 2 errors, 1 or 2 maybe tactical calls, and it's all over.
Yeah,
it's all over.
And also building the muscle memory and keeping that muscle memory fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like if you take the summer off and then you throw your first rocks and it's like, oh, I thought I knew what T-line weight was, but I'm not. I mean, we're close to that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that could be the advantage of California. I think California could have an edge and continue to grow and get better curlers because of the availability of year-long round ice. I know some people do want to take a break in the summer, but for those that are dedicated, there's ice available here in San Francisco. Clearly, there's also, interestingly enough, a relatively new club. I just want to give a call out for the LTEC club, the Lake Tahoe Epic Curling Club up in Lake Tahoe. They recently got a nice investment from an ex-early Google employee and some funding to put in a beautiful little 2-sheet club in Lake Tahoe. Really great place. If you haven't been there, highly recommend checking it out. Edie Hazard, ex-world gold medalist from Scotland, and her husband there, Eddie, and the gang up there, doing a fantastic job. Spent a bit of time up there practicing just before Christmas. Very welcoming club. They're running it's obviously a 2-sheet club. It's small. They can't run big spiels, but they are running. I think if I'm not mistaken, the Saturday before Super Bowl weekend, a 1-day mixed doubles spiel, so that might be worthwhile checking out when the registrations. I think that'll fill up quickly. They're also doing a thin air bonspiel in the spring. We played there last year with Seema Shah, with Greg Felton, and Adriana was supposed to be playing with us. She actually put the team together. I ended up skipping because she fell foul of COVID, unfortunately, so we missed out on that. And a woman called Chris Sullivan also joined us as lead. She's a LTEC Lake Tahoe local. We had a lot of fun up there. Won a few games, and we just we didn't win, but when you're up against teams like Raju, who's now on Team India, and ex world champions, it's pretty. Oh, actually, no, Edie wasn't playing that weekend. I apologize. Her husband was. I think he ended up winning in the end. But great weekend up there in Tahoe. Highly recommend checking out. Of course, there still is some ice in Southern California. The Orange County team, Orange County Club, have been incredibly generous, offered up priority space to some of the Hollywood curlers that don't have anywhere to play, and they're offering, I think, Thursday and Saturday leagues through the spring. I understood yesterday that they're moving as well. Maybe somebody in the chat, Joel or Sue, maybe you could let us know a little bit about what's happening with ice in Orange County for those that are interested in playing in Southern California rather than traveling up north like I've been doing. It gets expensive and tiring quickly, I can tell you.
Although when you do go to bonspiels, you get like a half season's worth of play, in a weekend, which is nice, provided that you feel like you're playing well. So this situation here, it looks like Umali has sitting shots, but Wheeler's got 2 in the house, along like one center, one to the right wing there. So Wheeler's definitely looking to generate multiple points here to get back into this game, but they're also clearing guards. And I'm curious about this strategy of clearing guards. Well, maybe to get access to the shot rock.
Who has hammer here?
It's Wheeler, because Umali scored that deuce.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, you just need to clear this out. You want a line to the forefoot with hammer.
Yeah.
Generally don't want stuff junked up in the center. There are the odd exceptions if you've already got rocks sitting in there and you know that they're well protected, you can further junk it up. But that's usually unusual. I think, and it's quite difficult, with this new 5-rock rule that came into play a little while ago. It's actually pretty tricky if teams put up their centers in the right place, you get those 5 rocks all in play. It's actually pretty tricky it's a lot harder than it was when I first started playing the game to clear things out.
Well, and there's also the no-tick rule, which is new in our competitive field this year and fairly new internationally.
Indeed, I have mixed feelings about that, particularly even up to this level of curling. I mean, I think possibly for the top guys who know what they're really know what they're doing, they can play that precise. Mm-hmm. Just moving off center to set up a couple of corners or whatever. It rewards skill, right? So, but they're trying to make it a more interesting game, make games. Make ends more interesting. So I get it, and they're going to be testing some things out. This new players association that's being set up with some of the top curlers, and I forget the guy's name actually. Is it, we can find that out later. Maybe somebody else on the chat can remember better than me. There's a podcast on Kevin Martin's curling podcast. There's a little interesting piece on how what's been asked for some time, which is essentially a players affiliation, a players association, and they're setting up that. They've been very thoughtful. They've got members from all around the world, female representation, good female representation, Asian representation for the first time, really tapping into what some of the needs of the players are. Because, some of these associations, some of these big events, some of the pro events are they're pretty all over the place.
Yeah.
Actually, you don't know when you're going to be playing. The schedules aren't aren't matched. People are traveling around. They're spending a lot of money on travel, and the schedules are just random in some cases. Events are known for sometimes years in advance. So I don't think it takes a genius to put this all together. I think that's what they're trying to do. There are a couple of other attempts in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I think even Kevin Martin set up a players' association a few years back.
Yeah.
Not particularly successful, kind of fizzled out. But I think they've got a good. Buy that Powerball ticket.
Although it's made in millions, that's the big jackpot. But,
Yes, that is the podcast, Mika. I was just trying to remember who the gentleman is that's setting up the Players Association. Maybe somebody knows.
I know Nick Dean is heading. He's like the player president of the association.
That's right, Ryan. Yeah.
And Corey Dropkin and one of the Peterson family is representing the U.S. As well. So I forget if it's Tara or Tabitha. So
fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. My concern is that curling. We hope to keep curling growing, but there's also not necessarily a lot of money in curling right now, and it's going to be.
That's right, Ryan Hartley.
Okay.
Ryan Hartley, that's the guy. Seems like a little bit of an entrepreneur, and they had Ryan and Nick Dean on the podcast the other week there talking about it. It's going to be really, and Tab, yeah, super. That's fantastic, and I mean, it's a good starting point. I guess one of my concerns, not that I'm ever going to make it to the top level of the game, is there's nothing really in between, competitive bonspiels and cash spiels. So the World Curling events that run, there's a big gap there, and we see people that are sort of trying to break into the top sphere go to some of these big events and getting blown out. I think there needs to be a bit more of a structured, almost like a tiered system or a league system or something like that.
Kind of like the World Tennis Tour, because they have different levels of tennis events.
They have the 250s, the 500s, and then the slams. Just a lot more tiering, I think, and a lot more structure to it, so that you know what you're going to show up for. You know that you're not going to show up against John Schuster and get blown out of the water in 3 ends, and have you might have an enjoyable weekend where you're at, and maybe play a couple of other competitive games, but you're not going to be in at the deep end.
Well, I think that's something that was I think Denver tried to do something similar for their mixed doubles championship, the Colorado Cup, I believe it was called, where they had a competitive tier and then they had an open tier. And we had a team from Utah, the state of Utah, go, and they entered in the competitive tier. And, it was a challenging weekend for them.
Yeah,
but
we were there. I played with Nicole Rockwell. We played in there. We took the safer route of playing in the recreational or the club event.
Yeah,
and that was a lot of fun. What I did notice is the top few teams in the recreational event were equivalent to the lower teams in the competitive event. But there was a stark difference between those guys and the likes of the Hamiltons, Schuster and Gavin playing together, some of the Strauss team, some of the top US curlers that are just a level above. But what you could imagine, and I thought it was a great event, super event, is maybe 3 tiers. Like have your top tier event for your elite curlers, have a super competitive, I don't know what you call it, Series A or a Premiership or Championship.
Yeah.
And then a rec event, and maybe with both the Denver club and now Rock Creek, which is a fantastic facility in Colorado that's been set up. You could do something like that. Maybe they've got the capacity to do something like that.
So this end is winding down. We're down to the last of the stipstones, and it's a very, very messy house here.
Holy moly, let's take a look at this.
Last rot's away.
They're just trying.
Umali sitting 1.
Should just try and draw a wide round for a couple, sit in the 8 foot.
Yeah, I think if they draw around and like maybe
Looks like they might have it.
prevent the run back, any sort of run back or.
To sit 2, yeah, just freezing on that back yellow. That's a nice shot.
So it does show a path for Wheeler to,
What are they going to do here?
sort of get to the center of the house, but they need 4 foot.
They need 4 foot, and they're 7-1 down. They need multiples here, and I don't see a way to do that.
No.
Like they're going to try and chip up that yellow, and to get 1. At least it looks like that's what they're trying to do there, right?
So I've been joking that the holidays are over, but there's still a Christmas tree in front of this house with all the rocks in play.
Does look like that. Oh, there we go. So Hans, hi there, Hans, Judy. Hope you're well. Hans, hope the shoulder is recovering well. Just had rotator cuff surgery, so he's about. I think he was last time I spoke to him, he was about 70%. I hope it's more than that, Hans now. Looks like it's going to be a wine and chocolate open doubles 1-day spiel on Saturday, February the 11th. Fantastic.
Okay, so this is coming in. This is going to be
looks
interesting.
a little hot. Looks like she just punched her own shot out the back, and that's going to be a deuce.
Yes,
for Team
another
Umali.
steal.
I thought it was interesting the Umali setup, and I think some of the the Swiss team Tiranzoni does this, and a couple of other teams where they have the skip not necessarily throwing last rock. So Queen of Muirs from OC was yesterday was throwing last rocks with Donna skipping. And it's an interesting setup. You don't necessarily get to see all the lines into the house, so that's a slight disadvantage. But when you've got somebody like Queen who's got great draw weight, again U5 curler, qualified for nationals actually out of the event in Coyotes a couple of months back. Congratulations to you and your team. Couple of Southern California teams. Well, maybe one. Actually, let's get on to U5. It's my butterfly mind here. There's a U5 spiel being held here, I think.
Yes, they announced it just today, I think. The Oaktown, I forget what the full name is, but Oaktown something, and it's going to be mid-February. There it is.
Let's see if we get the details on that. Yeah, so it's the Oaktown 5 and under. It's February 24th to the 26th here in Bay Area. To get the details here, it's going to be a 3-game format. There's looks like
3-game guarantee.
3-game guarantee. Sorry, 16 game max, 16 teams. It's open format. That's cool. Always like the opportunity to put together whatever team that you want to put together. $400 a team. That's pretty decent. And it is. That's the question that was on my mind. It's going to be an official qualifying event for the National 5U. So all you 5U teams out there that are still aspiring to go to nationals, haven't yet qualified, sign up. Looks like opening membership. Membership are going to get a priority. So it looks like San Francisco.
You get 1 day to sign up before the general public.
Yeah, so get ready with your fingers on the buttons. There's a link in the Facebook page there.
BayAreaCurling.com.
Should be a fun event, and like I said, a qualifying event for the new National 5Us, which was kicked off last year, spearheaded by John Schuster.
As an official USA Curling Championship, because before last year it was held under the auspices of the U.S. Women's Curling Association.
I didn't know that right now. Yeah, it's great. I mean, fantastic. Another spotlight on how we another way that we can grow the game here in the States, and maybe we can tease the Canadians about the growth of the game. And I think curling's actually struggling a little bit in Canada. We're seeing sort of closing of clubs and a little bit of a reduction of interest in the game. Some things that need to be done there, but great. Curling. We've got some challenges with USA Curling. A few scandals last year. But all in all, I mean, as testament to it is 18 men's teams, 26 teams in a
Yeah.
MoPac Playdown. Who would have thought? Can you imagine that a few years ago? I think when I first came to the States 12 years ago, there was maybe only 10,000 people playing curling in the States, and
Well, then
now
you-
it must be close to 30 or 40,000. Is that right, Ryan? Or,
It's
you have
hard,
some numbers
it's
on that?
hard to tell just because also there's certain clubs that are part of USA Curling right now, but I think we're down, like in terms of official members, I think it's about 16,000 members of USA Curling. But I think easily over 20,000, and then people who are participating in curling, not necessarily a member of a full league. We at the Utah Olympic Oval, we do lots of learn to curls almost every week, and so we probably see almost 3,000 people, maybe less, depending on how the summers go. But we've been selling out a decent amount of the time. So,
That's amazing.
So we could probably see up to 3,000 people, especially when you throw in corporate events. So just teaching curling, introducing them to the sport, and not everyone's gonna join a league, but just to get that taste of the game. Maybe dream a little bit, because like this is the one sport that you could potentially go to the Olympics at almost any level, or at least you think you can.
I mean, so you guys, looks like Umali's sitting one in the house
Yep.
here, 2 yellows out front. Looks like she's just putting in another center guard. Looks like it just needs to curl just a little bit. Looks like they've controlled that. They've swept that nicely. So Donna back now. They switched things up. She's now skipping and throwing last rocks.
Indeed.
So Ryan, tell me a little bit about what's going down in Utah. You said that sometimes get up to 3,000 people through the door. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys run, I think, three sessions during the week on the arena ice. Is that
Ideally,
right?
yes. So we have 4 clubs in Utah, which is really awesome. We have the Mother Club of Utah. That's the Ogden Curling Club. They play in the venue that hosted the 2002 Olympics, the curling venue for the Olympics. But the Oval has the rocks from the 2002 games, which is kind of fun to say. Yeah.
Wow.
Then we have Park City. Park City does really well, and then we have a club up in Logan, towards the north part of the state, and they're a bit of a smaller club. They can't get necessarily a lot of ice time, but I was talking to people, and yes, being on dedicated ice conditions and the time availability is superlative. But I think we have a really good opportunity in Utah, because you can curl, or at least be involved with curling, almost every day of the week.
Yeah.
Ogden had a Sunday practice and mixed doubles league, and I think I don't know what they're doing with Sundays now, but Monday and Thursdays were the Oval main leagues. Part C was also Mondays. And then we have a learners league on Saturdays at the Oval. So people who want to kind of bone up on the sport.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I mean, is there any interest in getting dedicated ice? Is there like a collegiate coordinated effort to do that?
There's talk, but I think it really takes. I think it's really going to take people really stepping up their interest and dedication. I think I was talking with Daryl Horseman from Coyotes, and he was saying that it takes about a dozen to 14 or so really dedicated people with the resources to really kind of get a dedicated ice facility off the ground.
It really does.
So,
it really does.
I'm just looking at like abandoned Kmart's to see. It's like, oh, can we put a sheet of ice in this abandoned Kmart?
We have one just around the corner from my house. Maybe I just need to get a couple of local investors, and we can get that club set up in Westlake Village down in Southern California. What do you think to that, Ben? We just need about $2.5–3 million worth of investment to make a goer, and it'll be invite only.
So some of the rods have been moved around here. I think we're about halfway through this sixth end on our feature sheet game between Umali from Hollywood and Wheeler from Silicon Valley. It's been mostly Umali.
It looks as though, I mean, maybe they made some corrections and did a couple of heavy scrapes on the ice, because it looks as though the ice, at least as far as I can tell, on the feature sheet here is actually playing pretty true. Pretty predictable from what we've been seeing here. Ryan, what do you think?
I think it's improved since last night.
That's a great shot, just buried in there behind, just a little heavy, but what a great shot there.
And that was
a shot there was from Amanda.
Yep.
Again, relatively new curler, but she's really coming into her game here on Team Umali.
What do you think of all the new faces in this sport? Because there's a lot of teams here with less than 5 years of experience.
I mean, I think it's testament to how interesting and how the growth of the sport. To be honest, right? And like we've said a number of times, 18 men's teams, 8 women's, 26 teams from MoPac. Some you got over 130 colours here. Great. It's just a call out to the volunteers. It takes a lot of volunteers, the officials involved over the course of this weekend. Thank you. Call out to everybody that's been involved in putting this event together, and at pretty short notice. I mean, we got news of the closure of the Southern California curling facility, which was originally tasked with hosting this event, and the Bay Area Curling Club stepped up and have led the way for MoPac, taking a bit of pressure off the Coyotes Club. Have been flying that flag for a number of years, and they also host a number of great events there.
Yeah.
We played in U25, first ever U25 event in Phoenix just late last year. Great event. We were lucky enough to make it right through to the final. Unfortunately, lucked out to Team Aronson and Kevin and the gang. But super event there. Really, one that was called out for. I know you know much about the format of the game, Ryan, the tournament, the way it was set up.
No, not quite sure.
So to put a team together.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, so
I'm on the committee, so I hope I know about that.
So just we'll tell the viewers that we got it's not under 25 age, obviously.
Right.
I'm almost double that. It's 25 years of experience in your team maximum, right?
4 players, and yes, so it was kind of geared as an outgrowth of the 5 and under, where it's like, okay, so you have more than 5 years of experience, but you can combine with other players to still compete in a kind of an experience limited event, but it's with people with a broader range of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic idea because it mixes up people that could have been playing the game for 30 years because you were maxed out at 20 years.
Yes.
20 years of seasons experience. So you could have like somebody like a Fred Maxey or a Siggins leading three people that only played the game for a year or so.
Yeah, but only one person with 20 years because you can't add anyone else over 20 years because you're over the limit.
Right.
So.
But what a great opportunity, and so hopefully that game that tournament. I know they're planning for next year. I don't know where that's going to be. Maybe somebody on the chat, or maybe we could find out from one of the locals here where that's going to be. But let's like I said, just that's what we need. Some new injection of ideas to maintain the inclusion. Keep people interested, keep people that want to go to that next step just a little bit more so they don't get thrashed at a cash spiel in Minnesota or something like that. I think, it'll need all sorts of ideas to further grow the sport. It's a relative, if you think about there's well over 1 million people in Canada that play curling.
Oh, yeah.
Well over 1 million in a population of less than a tenth of the US, right?
Right, so the Canadian population is roughly the same as California. Which is fascinating. Also fascinating is how this end shaped up. So some unfortunate shots from Wheeler because they were sitting one that was close to the center, and they actually accidentally took their own stone out and rolled away. And that's kind of how this game has gone for Team Wheeler. I don't know if this is Umali's last game, but this lineup change seems to be working for them.
Seems to have worked. I know they lost a couple of games, so I think they may not be progressing to the next phase. We have obviously Team Aubrey. Looks like they're going to play through. Top team there from Coyotes. Adriana Camarena and her team here from San Francisco Bay Area, including one of my hopefully playing partners for this year, Seema Shah, new curler.
Jane Burns also. Sorry.
You don't carry on.
I was just saying Jane Burns, one of the other teams that's moving on to the playoffs, and.
I don't know do we know who the fourth is? Maybe that's subject to the final round of games here.
I'm not sure. So this is check real quick. This is pool B that's on the sheet. So
Umali, Wheeler,
yeah,
Walsh and Aubrey. That looks like a tight game. Looks like Walsh is bringing that back. 5-4. Aubrey's hammer in the seventh. It's become a tight game. I don't know. Can we scan right across to sheet 4? Is it no?
we can't pan very easily.
Too bad.
But this looks like a great shot from Wheeler to at least kind of make something out of this situation here. Not shot, but at least gets a rock in the house, kind of forcing. Umali has some house money to play with, but Umali's going to go after it with your last rock here in the sixth end.
I don't know. It looks like they're taking a lot of ice if she's going to go after that. I think she's probably just going to put up another guard there, prevent Wheeler from getting from getting a deuce
or even a single.
Yeah.
Although the way she gave, that looks like it's carrying a little bit.
Right, where's it? Look like might. Oh dear!
This could
Looks
not-
like it's bumping up the yellow and leaving Wheeler sitting shot, buried, frozen against that back 4 blue. Yep. I think this is Wheeler's last shot.
Yep.
In which case she's going to have just that's
A draw for 2.
That's an interesting shot. That's a tough draw. I mean, I'd quite honestly, I think, there's not much of an option there. I was thinking maybe there was a way to chip that back blue out, but she'd lose the yellow. Yep. So it's going to be a draw to the 4 foot.
For a 2.
4-2. Maybe to keep the game alive.
Yeah.
But looks like it's going to be a challenge. If she does that, it'll be 9-3 going into the 7th end.
Well, no one scored an 8-ender yet in this event, so.
It's a rare event. I've never had been a couple this season I've seen across the wires. Looks like it might be a little wide.
Yeah. Well, Andy McDonald's team at the Crush, I believe, up in the Sacramento area, got an 8-ender.
Yeah, we saw that. All the postings on Facebook. There's still a lot of work to do to get to the 4 foot.
Oh my gosh, it needs to curl up.
Really need to scrub that, ladies. No, just coming up short.
Man.
Looks like it's gonna be 1 yellow. And are they gonna play another couple of ends?
Well, for some of these teams, this is their last time on the ice at this event.
It could be that, right? I mean, I think I've certainly have mixed feelings about that, recognizing that at least in the California area, not a lot of people have time on ice and dedicated time on ice. The balance, of course, is those teams that are progressing, right?
Yeah.
If you're 9-1 down as Austin Burnt was to us at the U25, with only a couple ends to play. You probably ought to shake, but they chose to play an extra game, and it was fun. It was all in good spirit. But you got to think for the ice guys, the guys that are volunteering on the ice, the amount of time that you're going to play, the additional time on the ice for that weekend that the other teams are going to have to endure. So, I think a little bit of courtesy, a little bit of common sense is required there, and obviously situational dependent. But I get the desire to want to continue to play.
Yeah. Oops. Let's throw around the rings really quickly. As these games are winding down, we have a final on sheet 1. Team Spangler from Wine Country finished with 10-3 over Team Baxter from San Francisco. Sheet 2, our featured game, Umali is up 9-2 over Team Wheeler. Team Pomeroy got on the board in the 5th with a single, so it's now 5-1. Team Barajas over Pomeroy on sheet 3. Barajas throwing the yellow rocks. Sheet 4, as we mentioned a moment ago, Walsh is taking the lead. I believe it looks like it's tied up again, though, on this scoreboard here.
It does. Looks like that was 4 all. That's running a little behind Bonspieler right there.
So it looks like Walsh is up 5-4.
Yeah, it's just refreshed there on the security cam there. And then sheet 5 again, the Hollywood showdown. It looks like Paul picked up a 3 in the fifth to take a lead. Hernandez, Dave clawed back with a 1. Paul now looks like, although he's got a hammer in the odd end, it picks up a deuce, should be in good shape to close out that game, unfortunately, against Dave. It would have been nice to see the underdog, Dave, the new kid on the block, do well, but fans of both of those teams, friends with all of them, they're all a good gang.
So turning back to our feature sheet game, looks like they're trading hits back and forth. Well, Wheeler drew into the house, and that let Umali hit them out.
That was unfortunate. She's calling a draw into the house. Yeah, I mean, I think that's maybe.
I think it probably slipped in. Yeah.
Slight error there. I mean, they need if they're really playing to stay in the game, they need multiples. They need some guard rocks in play. They need to junk it up. Keeping it clean is not good for Team Wheeler here. Mali's just gonna keep hitting rocks here and keeping the sheet clean with Hammer here in the seventh and a big 9-2 lead. Oh, Mika, yes, I was really hoping Dave could pull off the upset. Well, it's still tight. Still got a chance if he plays it well. Unfortunately, we can't see right across the sheet 5 here. Yep. No, I do not have sight of the ice, so we'll just have to see how those scores get posted as we go forward. You scroll back up the chat. I think we're just having a bit of fun here. I think Joel was interested in the top 10 broom stacking snacks. I mean, obviously anything from Trader Joe's. Joel.
You put together a good table at Hollywood.
Yeah, we always do. I think I probably ought to take shares out in Trader Joe's, the amount of money that we spent there. Oh my goodness, there's some interesting chat. Does this other guy voice Old Spice commercials? He's hilarious. Don't know who Ashley is, but yeah. I'll take that as a compliment. All salty snacks being in the top 10. Nominate Fireball as a broom stacking stack. Are you kidding me? I think they actually banned that in some countries because of the additives.
It's better than Malort.
Yeah. I think I've tried Malort a couple of times. My friend, I call out to the Spirited Shaker, Susie Twetton down in Southern California. Amazing mixologist. Oh. She actually, believe it or not, managed to mix a palatable Malort cocktail. I had one delivered to my doorstep. Just a festive cocktail with Malort. It had nutmeg and all sorts of interesting things.
Interesting.
And it did not produce the famous, or the infamous, I should say, Malort face.
And the thing is, like Malort is an herbal spirit, right? So there's just like a lot of different plants that are blended together and fermented, I guess.
Well, I know. I know. Some people like it. I don't. I mean, Marin Gamboa down in it was one of the founders of the Southern California Curling Center. She loves that spirit.
Oh, botanical. That's what.
Always had a bottle available for those that hadn't tasted it before. I mean, actually, as a reminder, Ben, if you're still online, how many hog shots did you have this weekend? Because we have a 1 shot for hog shot rule.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah. You gotta make your draws, gotta make your guards, or there's a fine to be paid.
So it looks like looks like Wheeler's getting something going in this end.
She's sitting a couple, 3. It looks like they're going to be sitting 2, possibly 3 here. Umali needs to watch out. I mean, it's interesting. She's still playing to Wheeler's advantage here by trying to put another shot in the house. I think that's a little risky. This stage, I'd be clearing up, ripping my own rock at the top there, clearing that center right out there.
But that didn't backfire sometimes because I was on a team, we were up 4. It's like, just keep a clean house, and we kept missing our hits.
Well,
and then all of a
yeah,
sudden,
that's true. I mean, you got to be pretty. This looks like it's hanging a little bit wide. It's coming. Looks
pretty
nice.
good.
Looks like it's lining up nicely. Well, that's just.
Oh man,
That was a perfect shot. Oh my goodness, that is that. What a shot was that? Was that Kira? Oh my goodness, well done. What an amazing shot. Very young curler, just only again a year, maybe just less than a year into the game. Already, I mean, she does other activities. Gets way lower on the ice than I have ever been able to get, which is an advantage, of course, for getting that line. She nailed that one right on the button. Well played. The box on him. Yes, Sue. Yeah, Malort gets everybody.
I actually paid for a double shot at a bar outside of Coyotes, and that was not the best use of $12, I must say. I mean, I didn't mind it, but was it worth $12? No. So.
Okay. Well, Don obviously played the very aggressive strategy there, putting a perfect rock right on the button there, perfectly executed team shot there. With the sweepers involved, cutting it in perfectly. Team Wheeler just put a yellow just a little too deep there, and now they're just going to guard it up. Amanda's. Amanda's first rock?
Yes.
Yeah. Like she's coming in a little wide, left a little bit of a port there. A little bit of a port. What happens in Vegas? What goes on tour stays on tour. Yes, absolutely, Mika. Although apparently there's a video. Oh dear, that's disturbing.
Oh man.
Right here, this is Yellow's in trouble. I think looks like they're trying to punch that yellow back. I don't know if they got enough. Have they got enough of an angle, Ryan? Do you think to get that yellow back
tight.
on? Looks like it's tight. It's crashing on blue, but it might have done something.
It does open it up.
Opens it up, but still in favor of Umali. She's going to put another guard up front. Yep, calling for another center. What else have we got going on? Can we take a quick peek at the scores?
Yes,
on the other?
one of the games that ended up. One second, I'm switching views. One of the games ended up. I saw Walsh pulled out the win. It looks like over Aubrey.
Oh wow! Look at that, taking a 2, stealing a single in the 6, and stealing a 4. And maybe Aubrey was chasing there.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're trying to chase a few, you give up a few. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. I think Aubrey's still qualified though. Maybe Walsh is then the 4th qualifier.
Okay.
A little bit. We need to don't quote us on that, people. We need to check that. Looks like Jesus is still in control on sheet 3 against Ken from Utah, 5-5-2. Umali up. I think it looks like Bonspieler hasn't updated here, where it's actually 9-2 to Umali in the playing the
7th end.
the 7th. Is it the 7th or the 8th end?
They're going away, so it's the 7th end.
7th end. Oh yeah, thank you for that, Ryan.
And then the battle between Hernandez and Mendoza is all square again.
Wow, check that. Looks like Dave stole one in the 7th, and they're going down the 8th level. Wow, that could be a very interesting. It's a shame we can't get a camera on that game, Mika. Your wish may be granted if Dave can pull off another steal in the last. Yeah, Mendoza has hammer. Yep.
So it
Here
looks
Wheeler goes. This is our first skips rocks. Looks like she needs to do something about that central blue. She's got 3 rocks nicely. Well, they're not nicely in play. Unfortunately, at the back of the house. I mean, Blues set up better here.
Yeah.
Ryan,
I think they
hope
can
you'd
chip
agree.
out the blue and perhaps roll to the side, but you'd have to hit it at the exact right side of the stone.
I think so. I think with a bit of weight on the angle, they can get it. They can get that blue out there, but they're going to lose their back yellow, no doubt about it. There's a challenging situation here for Wheeler. Let's hopefully she can keep it interesting. It's like a little tight. Yeah, the sweepers are on it. It's over curling. Looks like she might have chipped the top blue. Yep, she's on the top blue and just rolling in there wide, and looks like that might be counting. Third shot there.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
So after Umali's shot stone, there's like 4 Wheeler counters.
If Donna doesn't put in a center guard here, could keep things interesting. Maybe yellow gets a few. Let's see what happens.
Sometimes that's why you play the game.
Got to keep playing. Never give up until it's mathematically impossible. Or, as we talked about earlier, maybe if it doesn't look like you're going to get very far.
Yeah. And also, like I've talked to other curlers. I mean, this is supposed to be a fun sport. I mean, people want to win. I understand that, and we choose to play honorably. So, but it's also supposed to be fun. And so, if the game's not fun, and you're not talking to your front end for some reason because the front end can't sweep with a pig's toot, as it were. Maybe call it and work on some of the other stuff.
Well, this game looks like it might be drawing to a close pretty quickly. I want to give a special call out to Ryan here, Ryan Olsen, who is a stalwart when it comes to MoPac production.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan, for everything that you do. It's been yet another marathon weekend here for you. Hopefully you got some throat lozenges to soothe the throat with
Need some lemon tea, yeah. That's the thing is that when they do a tournament, players have a decent number of draws off, but I'm here for every draw for the most part. So it's something that's kind of new because I'm used to saying, I have the afternoon free or something. But it's like, nope, I'm here. So
looks like Mika's an advocate of letting them play it all the way out, and it's on live stream.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
So speaking about the schedule here, coming up, we might have a tiebreaker. We'll post this information to our Facebook page, the MoPac Facebook page. But the remaining schedule for today is if a tiebreaker is needed, we will play that at around 4:20 after the teams get their warm-ups in. And then we're going to start the men's quarterfinals tonight, starting at either 6:50 or so, or 7:50. It's going to be an hour earlier. Well, so normally it's going to be 7:50, but it can be an hour earlier if there's no tiebreaker. So we'll keep you guys updated because I know people are checking out the schedule on the MoPac Facebook page, on our MoPac YouTube channel, and so we'll have that. It'll be interesting to see. And then Sunday morning we're going to have the men's semifinal, and then that'll be at around 8:20. At 12:20, we're going to have the women's final on our feature sheets, and we'll have the men's final on the neighboring sheet. So we could do some overhead peek-ins to see how that goes. So that's all coming up on the MoPac YouTube channel. And definitely a huge thank you to Garnett, Jane, Jasmine, Sean. It's been great to kind of share the load, as it were. I mean, that's also the great thing about curling is that it's really true teamwork, and everyone has to put 100% of their part. Curling game in this sea here.
It's a pleasure to join you here. Looks like, oh no, that's unfortunate. It's just chipped in another blue to count third rock. Donna with hammer here.
Yep.
Looks like they're gonna try and put another rock in here. Would score 3.
Well, they're 1 right now.
They're 1. Oh yeah, there's a yellow at the back of the house there. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to draw for a second shot. See if she can pull that off. Yeah, I might join you might join you later this evening if we don't find a table in a nice Indian restaurant in town. Or if we do, we'll maybe go early and then come back and watch a little bit more. But either way, we'll be watching on the live stream, right?
Yeah, it's been great to have the players come in too and say, it's like, oh, we saw the game earlier. And
it's fantastic. Looks like there's some activity on the chat. Although there's Mika asking another question about the live stream record. Maybe you can respond to that one, right?
well, all the games are being saved on YouTube, so people can go back and rewatch them. So there is that record. And people do find it useful. I record our lead games and put them on YouTube, and people can go back and kind of see, what happened there, and
It can be, it can be educational as well for teams that are looking to correct things. I mean, we went back and watched a couple of our games, had a bit of banter about shots missed and made. It's always a good laugh over a beer after the game to watch that.
So it looks like at least one. It could be two. They're taking a look here.
Oh, that may be a measure. It's definitely one.
So
It looks. I mean, from the overhead camera, it looks like it's two blue.
Ooh, that was close.
Yep, and
I think they're just clearing it.
have they? Looks like they've shaken. Have they shaken
Not
hands
yet.
yet?
Now there we go. Handshakes.
There we go. What a fun game to watch. Team Umali really coming full circle and bringing off a win here against Wheeler.
Yeah.
Closing out there. It'd be nice to see a bit closer game, but it's still fun to watch.
Yeah.
Looks like Larry Lieberman, Hollywood Curling president, just joined us on the chat. Hi, Larry. How you doing? I hope hopefully you recovered. Hopefully you're COVID negative now. Saw on social media that you'd finally succumbed to this fateful virus. Hopefully you're not too symptomatic. Wore the Hollywood shirt today. Thanks for handing that off to Ken the other night. Worn with pride. And then we'll hopefully see you soon maybe on the golf course, if not the if not the curling rig.
So sheet 5 now. This is going around the rings. There's 2 games still in action.
Oh wow! Check this out. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
So go on, Ryan. You were about to say.
So just to set it up, there's 2 games still in action. It looks like Barajas has a pretty secure lead over Pomeroy in the 8th end. But sheet 5 is where the action's at. There is one blue Hernandez rock sitting just on the button, or just on the top of the button, surrounded by 4 yellow rocks.
I actually think this might. No, I think there's something funky going on because the score is reading 9-4. On Bonspieler, it's 5-all. I'm gonna let me just take a quick look outside, Ryan. I'm gonna be back with him one
Thank
second.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bonspieler's wrong.
incorrect. Bonspieler's wrong. It's actually, unfortunately for those Hernandez fans out there, Mika being one, looks like Mendoza put up a 4 in the 7th, so took 4. Looks like that could well be a foregone conclusion. Looks pretty clean house out there. It's not the sheet that you see on it's a little more advanced than that you see on the security cam. So one lonely rock says surrounded in a jaundiced house. Yes, nice one, Mika. Yeah. What else do we have going on? So you said that Jesus looks like he's nice clean house. Looks like he's in control there. 5-3 up with hammer. Although looks like Ken stole 3 singles in a row. Trying to claw it back there.
That's what he did. Yeah.
Trying to claw it back there on sheet 3. How does Bonspieler get updated then?
There are volunteers in this warm room updating the scores. So there's a lot of volunteers helping to power this operation. So the volunteers helping to keep time, helping to keep score. This camera setup that we're using has been volunteer set up by Tony and others, and it's a really good setup. I'm very thankful again to the San Francisco Bay Area crew for helping with your setup to allow us to stream. It's been really great.
Yeah, the camera quality on the sheet's fantastic. Great, Ken, my teammate Deathloff, big in the industry. The good contrast for the ice, and yeah, really nice to watch. We watched a few of the live stream games. Hopefully the viewers have enjoyed the session. It's been a real pleasure joining you here, Ryan, sharing a bit of banter as always with you.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, sorry, Mika, no Scottish puns. I couldn't think of anything that was PG rated. You have to wait till we get together, and I can share some more illicit ones with you maybe privately.
So, but no Montoyas in this game.
No Montoyas.
Yeah.
The references.
So did you ever see Princess Bride?
Do you know I've watched that film once under duress.
All right.
My wife is a big fan. Some friends of ours are passionate. I've watched it about 10 times and can quote every line from it. But no, I'm not an aficionado. I'm afraid.
So Inigo Montoya has six fingers. So if you score a six ender, we're now calling that a Montoya.
A Montoya.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we gave up a Montoya against Leclerc yesterday, so that will forever be etched in indelible memory. Thank you, Ryan, for that one.
You know, when you're talking, you try to come up with these fun turns of phrase. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Montoya. Six ender. Gosh. Yeah. Thankfully, we haven't given up too many of them, but when you do, it hurts. But yeah, good luck to Leclerc. Looks like Leclerc, Siggins, and maybe Fleming.
Oh.
Is that right in the semi-final?
I'll have to see. I know Ken Pomeroy is our competitions chair, and so he's going to be, I'm sure, crunching the numbers, as it were.
Yeah,
what numbers are to crunch.
And he's still out on the ice, so he's still got a bit of work to do when he gets back in. You know, maybe looking to pull off a win against Jesus.
So there are handshakes on sheet 5. You know, they did update Bonspieler finally, and so they did. Hernandez did pick up the single in the 8th end, but not enough to claw back from being down 5 against Paul Mendoza. And so that blockbuster battle goes to Mendoza.
It does.
First.
Yeah, sorry, go on. Ryan.
Oh, he's going to make it a blockbuster night. So.
Boom, boom. Well, I think well, speaking of blockbusters, well, hopefully the Hollywood feature spiel will be. We'll find some ice to run that again next year. Maybe Larry. I know that the board are meeting. I think next week actually to talk about what the next steps are for ice in Southern California. Look forward to hearing what's going to be happening there. Somebody was asking about what the plans are for dedicated ice, Larry, on the chat earlier. Can't share anything at this point in time. I think the board are still looking at options, at least to get some ice somewhere. Obviously not dedicated at this point. That as a big undertaking.
They're gonna freeze over Los Angeles River and then do it the old style, the old Scottish style.
That'd be tricky, wouldn't it? That'd be tricky.
Speaking of tricky, look at what's going on sheet 3 here. It is the last end. Pomeroy needs to steal 2 to force an extra, and they're sitting shot right now, but they're a little open. And
he doesn't have hammer. I know he's looking to split the house there, but I'm not sure that is the right shot to play. I think he's looking at the second. No, yes. So he's looking to. What's he looking here? He's looking to maybe put one in the 8 foot, just like counting that yellow at the front. Sit 2 half buried behind that yellow, and cover his counting red. That would be probably my tricky shot. Probably, or possibly corner freeze on that front yellow and guard that red.
Yeah.
But the red's not far enough across. I think that's part of the issue there. It's just 6 inches to the right there would have been a better spot for Ken. But let's see what he can pull off. Ken's a great curler. He's got great draw weights. We won out against him last night, but he was a little bit distracted with a little incident we had here in Oakland. So
Yeah.
Hopefully, let's see what he's doing here.
I think this is his first of two stones.
First of two.
So
Super.
he used to be sitting two after his second shot. I think I was thinking about kind of corner freezing there to at least create some area to draw
looks like
to.
He's a little wide though.
I think they might be just based on where Brandon has the broom. I think they wanted to kind of split up a little bit, which is not too bad.
It's come a little deep there. There's still, there's an outside chance of a double there, but I think Jesus is just going to punch out that back red, and it looks. Jesus doesn't miss much. We had a very tight game against them first game.
Okay.
Lost by one. We were a little rusty. The rusty donkeys as we came off the ice. First four ends we did not play well. We dragged it back, but didn't quite make it against the Barajas team. I think I don't know how they performed in their other matches, but maybe this is a chance to qualify. Or as you said, it could be down to tiebreakers.
Yeah. I think Pomeroy had to win to force, or at least to have a chance at a tiebreaker. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. But it looks like this here. It looks like it's going to be close to. Yeah, chips it out.
Yeah, punched it out, and now. The only option here is for Ken to put another point in here. I think he's talking about possibly
Like kind of splitting
that red to create a bit of separation.
Also
to
with a
make it
different
harder.
path. Yeah.
There's not a lot you can do. He doesn't have a lot of options here. I think he's just got to put another one in, another counter in, and you're banking on a mistake.
Yeah.
Is,
That's part of the game.
Hope is never a great strategy.
No. But you want to be able to choose a shot that has the best chance of success, and leave the other team the chance of
make him play the last rock. We made Jesus play his last rock the other night, and that's all you got to do when you're down like this. Seen strange situations, especially when late on in the game, ice gets a little fudgy in the center. Or Peter didn't know what fudge was, so we
How did he not know what fudge was?
He's a young kid,
Oh.
Gen Z. He likes soupy ice.
Oh, okay.
I prefer fudgy. Soupy gives an impression that it's actually liquid, which of course it's not. It just gets
It's chowdery.
chowdery. Clam chowdery.
All right, so I think he's not doing the split just based on where Brandon has the broom on the tee line.
I think he's looking to put it in alongside and leave it so it's not set up for. It doesn't really matter because all Jesus then needs to do is just punch one of the reds out.
Yes.
And he's got his victory here. But Ken, let's see what you can do. Let's see if we can put. Is there still a game going on?
I think they're throwing them back because they were throwing away instead of kicking the stones back. They just decided
I see. They're just playing for fun.
I think so.
Looks like I hadn't even spotted that. That's interesting. Well, let's focus on the Pomeroy game. Let's see if we can see what Ken can do here. Again, like I said, as evidenced by the last shot, he's got some nice draw weight on him. Should have it dialed in. Wants to fly full 8, maybe top 4. Ideally, I think just a little behind the yellow.
So, it looks like he's a little wide.
He is.
He is
Looks like he's a little wide and he's splitting. Yep, he's still sat 2.
It's a slightly tricky situation for Barajas.
It is. He just needs to hit one of those reds,
Yeah.
though, and he only needs to knock it out to the 12 foot, and it's game over. Like I said, we've seen situations, particularly when you're playing down the center, it can get a little fudgy, and the rocks drag. You really got to be careful about keeping the brooms down, keeping it clean. He's a talented curler, and shouldn't really have any issue here. Just getting rid of one of those one of those reds.
Yeah.
He may even get rid of both of them. He doesn't need to, of course. But, I'm sure just as a sort of future confidence booster for himself, he'll be playing for the double here.
Well, it's not to say they're showing off. It's it shows a little panache, as it were,
Yeah,
if you can finish with the double.
Just to put an exclamation point on the game. Indeed.
So here is the last rot coming. Hammer from Barajas. Got the weight up. I think based on where he has the broom, I think he might be a little inside.
Oh, he is. That is interesting.
But
yeah, he's got just enough.
Punched it out.
And game over. Game to Jesus. Nicely played. Ken almost brought that back. Stole in 4 ends.
Yeah.
To leave the score 5-4. Making Jesus and Team Barras play the last rock there, which is always a goal when you're down like that.
And really quickly, because we're wrapping up our broadcast, but this was a game of 2 halves, and there's been a lot of games of 2 halves in this tournament because the first half of this Sheet 3 game with Barajas was all Barajas. They got all 5 of their points in the first 4 ends, and in the second half it was all Pomeroy really.
Yeah, we've seen a fair bit of that. I think, and it is quite interesting because of course you have a break after the 4th end, right? And we experienced this against Leclerc. I think Dave Betts experienced it against Leclerc as well. We were both up a few after 4, and then with the experienced team there coming back, resetting, re-engaging, maybe changing strategy up a little bit or changing tactics up a little bit. Had the opportunity to bring it back, and that's clearly what happened with Ken and his team there. They almost brought it level. Not quite. But congratulations to Jesus and the team there.
Yeah. Well, so this wraps up our coverage of pool play. We'll be posting on our YouTube and MoPac channels, Facebook pages, what the tiebreaker and playoff situation is going to be. I definitely am thankful for Garnet Howells for being here as our special guest. Before we sign up, our next game might be at 4:20 or it might be at 6:50. We will let you know. Just as a friendly reminder, this broadcast is presented by authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. For you, if you were to reproduce a curling game, a curling broadcast, what would be your way to reproduce it?
Oh, that's interesting. I think maybe with some commentary, some tips, like some voiceovers. I think Peter Johns and I have been talking for some time about taking particular aspects of the game. Really, and there are not very many good training videos on YouTube and some of the other platforms. I mean, there's Curl Up with Jamie, which has been out there for ages. There's some interesting ones that have been put on during the COVID shutdown. But I think there's a rich opportunity. I think maybe integrating some of the games and situations in the MoPac recordings that you've been doing to show and demonstrate some aspects of the game. Like, I think there are almost zero videos on directional sweeping and how to do that. And I know Eugene Hirtzak and others still have debates about those, and there's papers written and there's pieces on that. But I think there's something to be said even for some simple aspects of tactics and strategy.
Yeah,
could easily be demonstrated and maybe repeated. Maybe we get some of the more top end curlers to come in and help. So Peter and I are talking about maybe putting something together once we hopefully get some ice, or maybe we can come up here and do some filming, maybe collaborate with you, Ryan. That'd be a lot of fun.
It would be fun.
But I think leaving them out here, advertising, maybe getting some of the feature games. We actually found them a little hard to find on YouTube.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's something to do with search strings or search string optimization on YouTube. Maybe you have to pay for that. So.
Well, we have a short link now. So
Yeah.
if you search for youtube.com and then the @mark @MoPac CA, that's our channel page.
Okay. Okay, we didn't know that.
It
So.
should be easier to find. Obviously, we want to make sure people can find it. I appreciate that feedback. So
Yeah, no, well,
yeah.
Congratulations. Thanks once again for being the stalwart here, doing, as ever, a fantastic job. Pleasure to join you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the ice.
Indeed.
And good curling.
Thank you so much. And on that note, we'll end the broadcast, and we will see you later this afternoon. Thank you, and good curling.